Adventures of Sonic Episode 2. Subterranean Sonic. So both shows had an episode basically called that. I bet this episode won't be nearly as good as Subsonic though. We start out with Filler as Robotnik bitches in front of Scratch, actively saying that he's brooding. A crazed dictator can't have that kind of self-awareness, or he wouldn't be a crazed dictator. He sends Scratch after Sonic with a trap that you'd think would destroy them once they land from the fall. That was dumb of him. In fact, it would have been a lot funnier if that had destroyed them, and then he had to rebuild them. Get used to me just referring to Scratch, and not Scratch and Grounder, since it's faster, and they both have the same personality anyways. I don't really see why there's more than one of them other than them arguing. So here, they're all in a canyon with lava in it. A geyser that looks like it should have lava around it, but it doesn't, so why is it red? Anyways, a geyser sprays water, and Sonic sounds really annoying saying he sees them. He tells Tails that he knows when the geyser sprays water, being smart, and says they're going underground, getting a suit out of nowhere. And he goes into the geyser, and the robots get sprayed with water eons later after Filler. I like that Tails has a good voice for a change. Grounder seems to have Big the Cat's voice. Probably not the same guy, but that's not the point. He still gives me the same uncomfortable feeling as him. Sonic and Tails find a place with a bunch of gold and jewels, and something falls on Tails' head and he sticks his tongue out. And that's the end of the episode because he dies of a concussion. No, of course not. Instead, there's no consequences to anything. He doesn't get hurt at all. And instead, they find a mole with a horrible voice and personality. He says chili dogs are too expensive and lights a match on his cannon. Why does he have that? Seriously, why does he hate Sonic when he's not a robot? He just sees him as a freeloader, even though Sonic tells him he's a freedom fighter. Okay, this kind of behavior from Mobians would have made sense if Eggman had ruined Sonic's reputation worldwide beforehand, like with the smear campaign. Even then, Sonic isn't that troubled by being hated. He's smirking condescendingly like Scourge would. And he runs away and Scratch gets blown up, or something. It looks more like a bomb blew up. Sonic says out of nowhere that the mole wouldn't be so bad if he spent quality time with him. Are you serious? He's that idealistic? I respect there being a villain who's not Eggman, but can't we just have him be brainwashed or something? That would have explained his behavior properly. It's hard for me to think of him as a good villain when he has no reason for anything he's doing. Some really slow turtle people, who even talk slowly, don't move out of the way of the train tracks fast enough. Why the hell doesn't he just pick up those guys and send them to their destination at super speed, instead of standing there like an idiot talking? And Sonic somehow disguises himself to stop the mole with the yellow and black thing. Reuse running animation in background. And they see Sonic X is the only one who does it. It'd be fine if they explained in the show that Sonic has the magical power to disguise himself with stuff out of nowhere, making that a canon trait of his. But instead, he can do this for no reason. Sonic and Tails get trapped in a cage made of the hardest substance ever. The hardest substance ever thing was done in Fleetway too, and it was done a lot better because there was a proper explanation for it. Someone that we know made it. Here it comes out of nowhere. How did he get access to that kind of cage? When Sonic fails to spin dash out of the cage, which really impressed me as they have proper tension, and not him winning 5,000 times. Tails' acting when he asks if he's alright is horrible.
Sonic, are you alright?
I expected better. Then Scratch and Grounder waste their time arguing about which one of them found the fugitives. So was the mole working for them? That'd be the only explanation for why he'd have that kind of a cage, and why they'd know to go here to get Sonic. Robotnik lampshading their arguing doesn't make it good. He says he'll have to tear the whole place to pieces with digging machines to find Sonic. Is it just me, or does Robotnik have a bit of a British accent?
Where you were?
It suits him. The ceiling starts falling in pieces, and the mole blames Sonic for it for dropping in unannounced. But we'll see. But how could he ever think that it was his fault? He has no way of knowing that there's someone above here causing this problem. He makes the floor start opening up beneath Sonic and Tails in a moment of genuine tension for a change, because Sonic and Tails are actually scared. Okay, maybe the pilot really was that horrible misrepresentative of the show, because there were actual stakes here. It just sucks that we constantly have pointless scenes with the villains, like Scratch shoving explosives near him and saying that he wants to get rich. The mole has somehow never heard of Robotnik despite not coming from a whole civilization underground full of other people like the Nerds. Or inside of him. So how is he sustaining himself then? The Nerds story was better than this because it didn't have the scratchy grounder filler, and it wasn't just one guy constantly annoying me, making me wonder how he stays alive when he's underground and not going above ground to get food and thus finding out about Robotnik. The bad guys then fall through the hole below them thanks to their own dynamite, and that saves Sonic, rather than the mole deciding to let Sonic escape to fight Robotnik, which would have been actually good writing instead of making him one of the worst characters in the entire franchise. Seriously, he sucks. He just says nope over and over again when he really should understand. Maybe if you didn't know about Robotnik, I could kind of understand him not believing Sonic about Robotnik, and that's why he says no and stuff, but that's not it. He just doesn't care. How? How? The mole doesn't want to leave his treasure bags behind, saying there's only friends. If he's not living in a civilization, then how does he plan to spend that treasure? Because otherwise, he has to have heard of Robotnik. But yeah, he doesn't want to leave the treasure behind even though he's in danger. Sonic, just let him get crushed by the rock. Of course not. Let me guess, yep, the mole finds this touching. Because kids show. Which is weird because he was a horrible monster for no reason up to this point. Sonic spin dashes to find an opening in the wall and says he's waiting again. I really hate how he says that. Sonic F was right when it had Sonic say that the lime makes him feel all dirty inside. Oh god, and he says it twice in one episode. Imagine that in the wrong context, like when he's with a woman. He actually gets something properly for a change because he asks the mole for it, and uses that something as a rope to get past the moving spike ball pendulums, which is creative. And I can actually appreciate the creativity this time because I actually saw where the thing he got came from. But why were those even there? Who made those moving spike balls? This isn't a video game. It's not like Robotnik put them there. Scratch gets a hold of the treasure bags, and they're thrown onto a conveyor belt, sending them to Robotnik. So, wait, he's the ruler of the world. He can get anything he wants from intimidation, can't he? Why would he need money? I mean, gold isn't a good material to make stuff out of, other than jewelry, because it's too soft. Then the mole sees this, when I expect him and the heroes to have been long gone by now. He makes me think he'll be able to be useful in the plot to try to redeem himself. Because he's like using a knife on something. But no, it's just Sonic, because Sonic comes out of nowhere with a disguise and a clipboard that he has for no reason, and tricks Scratch again. Why are they falling for this? He's still obviously a blue hedgehog. How many blue hedgehogs are there? And he's not supposed to be here. These parts of the episode always suck because they make no sense, so they're not satisfying. They should be hard programmed to recognize Sonic. Facial recognition technology is amazing, so it wouldn't matter that he has stuff on his face like glasses. I admit that this is much more creative than Sonic just spin dashing at them, but there's only so much I can respect a good idea if its execution is nonsensical. He has no reason to have the suit, and they have no reason to buy it. This whole scene is just filler. I hated seeing the overly long lingering on Robotnik sleeping standing up for no reason with a terrible animation to him. What? Sonic humiliates the villain, sending them away unsatisfyingly, and he walks away with the mole into the sunset, forgiving him and wanting to be with him after the whole episode for some reason. I still don't know the mole's name, I didn't care enough to remember if it was said, and I don't really care what it is. Then the Sonic Says section at least has something to do with the episode, surprisingly, because it's about sharing with the mole and Tails. But again, Tails did nothing in this episode. So why is he here other than to give Sonic someone to talk to? Logic would dictate that if you have two main characters for the hero side, they would be equally competent, doing stuff equally as much as each other. Okay, this episode was better because there was genuine tension with Sonic being scared. There was a villain other than Eggman or his troops, as horribly unlikable and unbelievable as he was. And there was one villainous plot the whole episode, rather than Sonic winning 6 million times in a row. The villains want treasure from underground for no reason. Wait, how did they even know it was there? We didn't see them have a treasure detector, did we? I was kind of impressed that the mole, who seemed to be a complete monster beforehand, was made more likable by liking Sonic when he risked his life to save him. But it's hard to believe. It's like he turns into a completely different character because he was so evil before. And he was evil for no reason. It's not like Eggman brainwashed him or threatened him into it. Him liking Sonic because Sonic saved his life, it would make more sense for the evil Tails and Archie, because like at least he's basically Tails, so Tails is a nice person. But this mole has no redeeming features and no reason for me to believe he would have them. It's like he's only turning good because kids show. And Sonic's victory at the end doesn't feel earned because his disguise comes out of nowhere, and he makes the robots look unbelievably gullible for a Deus Ex Machina. And Tails did nothing. Again. I wonder if this will be another Antoine situation where you can count the amount of times he was necessary on one hand. It still feels like a bad show, with all the villain scenes being worthless filler with unlikable characters. But at least this is acceptable as a plot structure, because it's one villainous plot the whole episode.